Atlanta, it's time for Braves baseball. A beautiful Saturday night here in the heart of Dixie as we face the Marlins in Game 2 of our 3-game series. And all year long, Braves baseball on Sports South is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors, the right stuff, and the low price. And good evening, friends, with Joe Simpson. Chip Carey, a rough night last night. The Florida Marlins hit 4 home runs, beat the Braves 7-1 in the series opener. And that, coupled with the Phillies' late win last night and their 3-1 victory today over the Padres partner, the Braves lead now in the East a game and a half.
Well, the Phillies are getting well. They've already won the first 2 games of that series. And when you look at the standings, it's not just the Philadelphia Phillies that are playing well, but these Florida Marlins. The Marlins just a few days ago were 10 games out. Now they're 7.5 out and closing fast, playing well, playing with a lot of confidence. The Braves have got to get their act going because they've lost 4 in a row and 6 out of 8. They're at home, but they got beat here last night. But this is where they played their best baseball of the year, and they've got their stopper going tonight.
And that stopper's name is Tim Hudson. He's been terrific after a Braves loss, and you hate to keep piling things on the shoulders of Tim Hudson, but if anybody can shoulder the load, he's the guy.
Well, but it's pennant race time. You know, we're almost through August, and fans have got to be excited and into it, and so do the broadcasters and the players, so it's time to strap it on and get after it.
Big crowd at the ballpark tonight. We'll do just that. Take a quick break and talk about tonight's exciting pitching matchup, Game 2, Braves and Marlins baseball here in Atlanta and Turner Field. Dealers, by AT&T, by Blimpie, and by Geico. Minutes away from baseball here at Turner Field, where a very large crowd is gathering for the middle game of our weekend set with the Florida Marlins. And Chip and Joe back upstairs, where we hope to see another exciting pitching matchup. Ricky Nolasco for the Marlins. Tim Hudson goes to the mound for the Braves.
If these two guys pitch like they've been pitching, it should be a whale of a game tonight. But Ricky Nolasco goes for the Florida Marlins, and all eyes will be on him because he's been scuffling a little bit with a knee injury. As you watch him here, he's trying to readjust that sleeve on his right knee. He has a slightly torn meniscus, and he hasn't pitched in 10 days. So the whole staff of Florida Marlins manager and coaches will be keeping a close eye on him. They don't know how long he can go. They don't know how effective he will be because it's been a while since he's pitched. And he can't afford to give up too many runs because he's going against Tim Hudson. And Tim Hudson has been brilliant, especially here at home. Tim's last 5 home starts, he's undefeated with a 0.75 ERA. And Tim overall on the year 9-3 at Turner Field. Hudson got no decision in his last 2 starts, but he has been brilliant. His last 7 starts overall, he's gone 5-0 with an ERA under 1.5. These 2 guys are on top of their ball game. Runs will come at a premium. Should be a low-scoring game, and I'm anxious to see it get started.
Nolasco undefeated on the road in his last 6 starts. Hudson undefeated at home in his last 4 decisions. Something's got to give tonight, and hopefully it'll be the Marlins in Game 2. Stay tuned. We will have starting lineups. First pitch, Braves and Marlins baseball from beautiful Turner Field is coming right up. And by the Home Depot. Man, the ballpark is buzzing tonight. As the Braves and the Fighting Fish get set for Game 2 of the series. Braves trying to get even after a 7-1 beatdown last night. The Phillies have already won today, as we told you a moment ago. The lead now in the East is 1 1/2 games, pending the outcome of our play tonight here at home. Here comes the Marlins starting lineup. The top 3 hitters of late have been awfully red hot, and that sets things up for Dan Uggla, who hit his 150th career home run in the series opener last night.
In this lineup, we'll face Tim Hudson, who's in his 27th start tonight. He has made 2 starts against Florida this year. One was rain-shortened, and he's 0-1 in the other one. 12 innings, 11 hits, 5 runs, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. But when he's the stopper, these are the numbers that you see from a guy who comes in and pitches well after a Braves loss, having gone 6-2. He's 9-3 on the year at home with a 1.87 ERA. And for the year, right-handers only hitting a .99 against him. Keys to the game, 4 keys to the game for him. Location, that's something he complained about in his last start against Colorado, where he got no decision. Went 6 innings, gave up 7 hits and 4 runs, but he said he just couldn't locate his fastball well. Rain Man question mark? Well, we did have a little sprinkle and shower here earlier, but it just seems like every time Tim pitches against the Florida Marlins, whether it's here or down south, it seems to rain. Let's hope that's not the case tonight, because Atlanta needs him on the mound for a W for the duration tonight.
And Cameron Maben will get things started out of the leadoff spot for Florida. And it's already a better night tonight than last night. And that's because Maben hit the first pitch Tommy Hanson threw out of the ballpark for a leadoff home run.
That's the way the game started last night, in case you didn't see it. Tommy Hanson, first pitch fastball at the letters, got hit out of the ballpark, and Logan Morrison followed right after with another homer.
Maben, you recall last night in the 7th inning, swung and fouled the ball off his leg, but apparently strained his groin, had to come out of the game, was replaced by Mike Stanton. But obviously good enough to go for the Florida club in game 2.
Well, they're hoping he is, because if something happens to tweak that groin here early and they lose him right away, that's not a good thing.
Boy, that pitch just exploded away from Maben. And Tim Hudson off to a good start.
Had good bite to it. At the center of the plate, and then had it break away from him. He chased 2 like that in that at bat. In his last 7 games, when he's gone 5-0, just 10 walks in those 7 starts, but 33 strikeouts. Good walk to strikeout ratio over those 7 games. It's helped him go 5-0. There are the numbers. 217 average against him.
And a very impressive young hitter by the name of Logan Morrison. Bats with the bases clear and 1 out. Maben and Morrison, as Joe mentioned, back-to-back homers to start the game last night. First time that's ever been done by the Marlins franchise.
First major league homer last night for Logan Morrison, and yes, his father, who's ill in Louisiana, did have the game on and got to see it.
So a 10-game hitting streak for the Marlins left fielder. And the count now 2 balls, 2 strikes. Wind's been swirling and shifting all afternoon long at Turner Field. Right now it's blowing from right to left, and it is clouding up. At the belt. 2 outs. And for Tim Hudson, a big milestone, 1,500 career strikeouts.
Tim Hudson's getting a standing ovation here, and I'm sure he will remember this strikeout. But years from now, when Logan Morrison establishes himself as one heck of a good player, it'll have even more meaning.
And Hanley Ramirez rifles the first pitch he sees into left field, and that quiets the standing ovation for Hudson.
Quickly.
Yes.
Good grief, that ball was almost a foot inside, and he still turned on it. Must have been a changeup, something that he was able to get the barrel to for it being that far inside.
So Ramirez aboard with 2 outs, and that sets it up for Braves killer Dan Uggla. 2 more runs batted in last night.
Really got to mix speeds on Dan Uggla. He is first and foremost an excellent fastball hitter. He loves for you to throw him fastballs. He was very upset last night when he didn't catch up to one of Craig Kimbrell's 97-mile-an-hour fastballs and struck out. But you've got to mix pitches, and you've got to pitch to all quadrants and sides of the plate.
Uggla's had a remarkable career and is 1 home run shy of doing something that's never been done in the history of the game. That's have 4 straight seasons with 30 or more homers as a second baseman. Think about that. All the great players, Hall of Fame worthy players, haven't done what Uggla's trying to do. You think of Ryan Sandberg and you think of Joe Morgan. Not bad for a guy that was a Rule 5 selection out of the Arizona organization by the Marlins.
And in the media guide, 5'11", 207. He's more like 5'8" or 5'9" and about 215.
Ramirez runs. Pitch low. Throw. Not in time. "27 steals for Hanley Ramirez."
Tim did a good job of throwing over. Made a pretty good step to the plate, but Ramirez just outran the throw there.
And he stands in scoring position now with 2 outs.
This is one of the things that's really helped the Marlins get back in this in terms of giving them confidence, thinking that they're in it because they can do different things to beat you. They don't have to hit home runs. They don't sit back and wait to hit home runs. They will run. They'll hit and run. Uggla's got good numbers against Tim Hudson in his career, too, hitting over 350 with a couple of homers. And when you think about right-handed hitters this season hitting 199 as a group against Tim Hudson, it's impressive what Uggla has amassed.
Tim Hudson has struck out the side, including his 1,500th in his brilliant big league career. Florida fails to score in the top of the first. with 3 first-inning strikeouts. And let's see if the Braves can give him an early lead tonight against Ricky Nolasco. And as good as the Marlins' top 3 has been, same for the Braves. And you'd love to see it set up for Brian McCann. He's worn out Ricky in their matchups in the big leagues.
And Ricky Nolasco, 27 years old, 6'2", 230 out of Corona, California. His last 6 road starts undefeated, 10-2 overall for the year on the road, but great numbers in his last 6. His last start, a shutout over 6 innings against Pittsburgh. He won the game 6-0. He struck out 9. His 4 keys to success tonight, Ricky Menisky. Got to keep an eye on that meniscus to make sure his right knee's okay. And you just saw the numbers. He is one good road warrior.
Omar Infante is going to try to start another hitting streak. And he's going to challenge Morrison. And he's going to make it with a belly flop.
Great start for the Braves offense. Only scored 1 run in their last 15 innings. And they get a leadoff double here tonight against a tough pitcher. And we just talked about this pennant race heating up. The Braves will have to do little things to produce runs. Here's a case in point. Runner at second, nobody out. Got to get him over.
Jason Hayward, the batter. And thinking about it, shows bunt.
We did a little homework trying to go back to that last home game against Washington. In those 8 games, the Braves have lost 6 of them. The Braves, with a runner at second, nobody out, have only advanced him 3 out of 10 times. So 70% of the time they haven't gotten him over. 75% of the time they haven't got a guy in from third and less than 2 out. And they're 0 for 4 in sacrifice bunt attempts since that last game against Washington. Those are the little things we're talking about that they've got to do better.
Popped up. But it'll reach the seats. 2 balls and a strike. Jason Hayward, one of the hottest hitters on the club, has hit safely in 8 of the last 10 Braves games, with multi-hit games in 5 of those outings. And he accounted for the only Braves run in Game 1 of the series.
And it was a missile that he hit out of here last night. Out into the Braves bullpen, actually above the bullpen a little bit. No, it actually went in the pen. I was thinking it hit in the walkway there, but just a rocket.
So after a bunt try that missed, Hayward now a 2-2 count. Any drop off in stuff from your perspective with Nolasco?
None so far. It's only 7 pitches in, but he's got a good fastball, good cutter, good slider, throws a split occasionally. Mike Everett's, I think, a good ball and strike umpire. He's a generous umpire for the pitchers. Didn't give Nolasco that one. But if I'm pitching tonight, I like having him back there. Good at bat.
First and second now with nobody out. And that leads us to our quote of the day, brought to you by Geico. Edwin Rodriguez talking about Nolasco's knee injury. Quite obviously, Joe, they have to be extremely careful with this prized right-hander.
Yeah, he's under the microscope tonight. His arm's fine, but we're going to monitor him very closely, especially if he has to cover a base or if there's a lot of action around the mound. We're going to be careful. And he's already walked a batter here. He's only walked 1 batter in each of his last 5 starts. So having not pitched in 10 days, might have been a factor there.
And to your point about his control, that's only 31 walks in 155 innings this year.
Yeah, he's around the plate. His last 2 starts, just outstanding against Pittsburgh and Washington. He went 6 shutout innings in both of them and struck out 17 in those 12 innings. And it is really boiling up here, isn't it?
Yep.
Getting dark.
Off to our right, big, heavy storm cloud moving from our right to our left, but no rain yet. No balls, 2 strikes, the count to Martin Prado. And a soft fly ball to left. So no advance for Infante or Hayward. And 1 away for Braves catcher Brian McCann. Brian 12 for 34 with 5 lifetime homers against Ricky Nolasco.
Change up there. Brian McCann last year after the All-Star break just was on some kind of tear for the season. He had 13 homers, drove in 57 runs after the All-Star break. Those were tops on the club, both categories. Adam LaRoche was another guy who had a great second half, as you would suspect from Adam. He's always been a second half guy.
No balls and a strike. That's popped up. And Maben takes over for Morrison, the converted first baseman. And here we go in that situational stat we showed you a moment ago. 2 on, nobody out, 2 flyouts to left, and the runner's still at first and second.
And you might say at home, okay, well, what was Martin Prado supposed to do? You got runners at first and second. And ideally, you want him to hit the ball to the right side, hoping that he's not going to hit into a double play, might find a hole. But at the very least, he moves Omar over to third base. And if there's no double play, then he's at third with 1 out for a potential fly ball.
Derek Lee, the batter. I am a little surprised knowing that Nolasco has the knee problem that there really hasn't been an effort to put the ball on the ground with a bunt, see how mobile he is.
Well, Jason showed bunt and fouled 1 off, if not 2, thinking about moving the runner over. And then Martin showed bunt his first pitch.
Did he go?
Yes. Mike Everett's pointing at him and making the call himself. And he was right.
Derek 4 for 28 as a Brave at the plate. Had a double last night. A battle of former Cubs here. Derek Lee and Ricky Nolasco, who came over in a deal after the 2005 season with Sergio Mitre and Reniel Pinto for Juan Pierre.
Nolasco's made 2 starts against the Braves this year, 1-1, 14 strikeouts and only 1 walk in 11 innings prior to the first inning here tonight. And 11 of those strikeouts came on July 4th when he beat the Braves. Good patience on the breaking ball.
Now Hayes, the catcher, out for a chat. Runners will be moving with a 3-2 pitch. Line drive over first, but foul and out of play.
Still going away from him, though. Made him reach. They're going to make a mistake. They'll make a mistake outside there and walk him rather than make a mistake inside and hang one and have him hit it about 9 miles.
Double and a walk to start the inning. 2 flyouts to left after. Now Lee and a 3-2 count. Line drive left field. Morrison coming on, and a sinking line drive is caught, and that retires the side. Missed opportunity for Atlanta in the first inning. 2 on, nobody out. And we head to the second inning. A terrific catch keeps this game scoreless after 1. He will face Gabby Sanchez, the Marlins first baseman, to lead off the inning. .16 homers, 70 knocked in for the former University of Miami product. He too went deep against Tommy Hanson last night. Deep short. Alex Gonzalez sets, fires, and got it. Good play.
First of what Tim hopes is many ground ball outs tonight. And this one was sharply hit. Nice play by his shortstop.
Chad Tracy getting a chance to get healthy and get regular playing time with the Marlins, his third team this year. Started with the Cubs, went briefly to the Yankees, now makes his way to the Marlins. And Tracy, 2 hits last night. Another ground ball. Tim said earlier this year, Joe, that in his younger days, like a lot of young power pitchers, wanted to strike everybody out. He said he's a lot older, a lot wiser to the ways of the baseball pitching world.
Guys learn to pitch instead of just throw, and realize that you can get through a game a lot faster and with less effort if you're pitching to contact. And he does.
In fact, that graphic is one that's been somewhat interchangeable with Tim Hudson and tomorrow's starter, Derek Lowe. They've got traded positions atop the ground ball leaderboard.
Ten days ago, the Marlins were 11.5 games back in 4th place. Now they're in 3rd place. They've picked up 4 games in the standings, and they've picked up 2.5 games in the last 3 days. Coming into play today. They've won 3 straight, 9 out of their last 11, and over their last 10, almost 6 runs a game and a 2.21 team ERA. They're getting it done on both sides of the ball.
In fact, the last time the Marlins were 3 games or better than 500 was early May. They've really hovered around the 500 mark all year. But to your point, they are playing their best ball right now.
The standings reflect the Phillies' win this afternoon in San Diego. They've won the first 2 games of that series.
And Bonifacio has the second 2-out hit for the Marlins in the early going tonight. And he's a speed demon.
We talked about runs being at a premium. I said something about the way Hudson and Nolasco have been pitching. They will be at a premium tonight. And that's what's frustrating when you get the first 2 guys on like the Braves did in the bottom of the 1st and can't advance anybody. You just get Tim an early run or 2 to work with and then see what happens. Because he can pitch a lot more comfortably, not afraid to make a mistake.
Brett Hayes, another Marlin draft pick, taken in the 2005 draft. So is that Stanton, Morrison, and Hayes out of the 2005 draft for these guys? It's just 3 names. If I'm right about Stanton. He was 07, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, he was in the Hayward draft.
Hayes out of Woodland Hills, California. Along with Brad Davis, now the catching tandem for Florida. Ronnie Paulino, who has had so many big at-bats against the Braves this year already, suspended for 50 games by Major League Baseball. So with Paulino out, Chris Coughlin done for the year. The Marlins a little bit short-handed, but still putting up very, very impressive numbers. Bonifacio runs, and McCann drops the baseball. Second steal of the game for Florida. And the Marlins trying to force the action on the base paths.
This guy hasn't been able to play enough to really rack up a ton of swipes, but he's perfect 5 for 5 now.
And a hit from Hayes could give Florida the early lead. But you got the pitcher next, so one would think Tim would work very carefully here.
Right, remember John Baker was the guy that they were so high on last year as their #1 catcher, but he's been hurt all year long. I think it's an elbow. I have to look it up. I believe a bad elbow. He had 270 for them last year with 9 homers, so it's been a real shame that he hasn't been able to play for Florida. And then losing Paulino, who was just kind of dumped in the laps of both Davis and Hayes.
So Hudson pitches around Hayes, now faces Nolasco with 2 out in the second. One ball, 2 strikes. Nolasco with 16 career RBIs. And Tim Hudson has his 4th strikeout in tonight's ball game. He strikes out his mound opponent and keeps the game scoreless in the second.
Hey Braves fans, Christina Acker here. While you're watching the game, go online at foxsportssouth.com. Lots of good stuff over there, blogs, interviews, chat it up. It's all stuff you can only get from us. So get your Braves game right here and get more Braves over there at foxsportssouth.com.
Well, that heavy storm cloud appears to have passed over the ballpark. Not a drop of rain has fallen here in the last few moments, which is certainly good news. As we head to the home half of inning number 2, let's enjoy our AT&T U-verse trivia question tonight. Billy Wagner's one of 4 pitchers all-time to record 30 or more saves with 4 different teams. Can you name the other 3? Lee Smith's got to be one of them, doesn't he?
Who are his other teams? Cardinals and who else?
Red Sox, Cubs.
Okay. Raleigh fingers with Oakland and San Diego and Milwaukee.
That might be a good one. Yep. And Diaz, the Marlin killer, drives one deep center. Back goes Maben. That one is gone. A home run.
He is a Marlins killer. Career .379 hitter against them. 9 for 19 now against Nolasco with a homer. Just enough.
So there's the lead for Tim Hudson. And maybe Diaz, with his bat hot in his last 17 starts, will get an extended run in the outfield for the Braves.
Well, he's in there against a right-hander tonight. That's odd in and of itself because he usually doesn't start against a right-hander. But he has good numbers against Nolasco, so he's in there. And given the struggles of Eric Hinske recently.
Oh, what a play at third by Tracy. Can he throw him out? And the throw pulled Gabby Sanchez off the bag. Infield hit and a 10-game hitting streak, we presume.
We talked about this last night with respect to Chad Tracy. He just hasn't had that many opportunities to play at third base over the last 3 or 4 years with the Diamondbacks, but he makes a great stop here, but couldn't get anything on the throw. A 2-hopper over there that pulled Sanchez off the bag, and Alex has himself an infield hit.
Runner at first, nobody out. 1-0 Braves for Melky Cabrera.
That play at first base, you see Sanchez trying to stay on the bag. He didn't. And then he thought maybe Alex had missed the bag, so he went back to tag him just in case. Matt Diaz, his first homer in a month. His last home run came against Scott Olson of Washington on the 29th of July.
Does it count if you're a former Marlin to stay hot like
Yes, it does. Good pitch.
This guy's a winner, I'm telling you. One of the quietest double-digit win guys the last 3 seasons. 14-8 this year, 13-9 last year, 15-8 in 2008. You put this guy back-to-back with Josh Johnson, which is the task the Braves have tonight and then tomorrow afternoon. That's a pretty tough tandem to beat. That will slice into the seats, and Melky will stay alive.
Yeah, they've got a good rotation. Their bullpen early in the year maybe that and their lack of defense may have been the single biggest reasons it cost Freddie Gonzalez his job, even though the record was 2 games under, 2 games over 500, something like that when he got fired. But their bullpen was just a revolving door. They couldn't find anybody to be consistent.
Braves doing a good job of trying to run the pitch counts up for Nolasco. Another 3-ball count here. Line drive, base hit. Three straight Atlanta hits here in the second inning.
That's a good at bat for Melky, and when you're 2 for your last 17, when you stay on the ball a little bit longer and go the other way, that's a good sign. You talk about this guy being a winner and how good he's pitched over the last 2 or 3 years, Chip. One guy that's really a thorn in his side, he's happy to see on the disabled list, is Chipper Jones. Chipper, 13 for 28 in his career against him, a .464 average and 4 homers. So he thought maybe he'd catch the Braves at the right time.
Hudson, a bunt. And there's one of those little things you've been calling for a couple of weeks. Tim helps himself. Second and third, 1 out.
First successful sacrifice bunt for the Braves in their last, counting this game, their last 9 games. They'd been 0 for 4 prior to this one. So good work by Tim trying to help himself. And Omar, who has such a very high average with runners in scoring position, with a chance to get another 1 or 2 in.
And that average a whopping 341 and 353 with less than 2 outs and runners in scoring position. So you're right. The lineup works out perfectly for Omar Infante.
Tell you what Omar's done, and good for him, is that he might have been looked upon as a utility guy, but at most a platoon guy, where he wouldn't get to play against right-handed pitching. Well, he just tears up right-handed. He's hitting better against right-handers than left. And that's all because he's playing every day.
Ground ball to short. That'll get a run home. And maybe more than that. He's 2 for 2 and give him his 38th RBI as Gonzalez scores.
Remember, with Ramirez playing here, trying to bird dog the runner at second a little bit, he was cheated up the middle some. He had to circle this ground ball. It was a curveball to Omar that he just hit off the end of the bat. And because it was slowly hit, and Ramirez had to go a ways to get it, able to leg it out. Good hustle.
So first and second, 1 out. The inning started with a Diaz homer. The biggest play may prove to be Tim Hudson's sacrifice bunt.
You have 16 hits in your last 10 games like Jason does. You're on fire.
Hitting over 400 in that stretch. And something we noticed in Chicago and in Denver, Jason's turning on the ball a lot more aggressively now.
his group was having a little contest at the end of batting practice, hitting off Chino Carajilla as Mike Everett, the home plate umpire, tries to walk one off. And they have a lot of fun with that last swing in batting practice. And today, Matt Diaz came over to me and he goes, well, that was like spring training. And I said, what? I didn't see it. He goes, you didn't see that last ball Jason hit? I said, no. And he said, find the person who's standing at the top of the walkway next to the bullpen. I said, yes. And he goes, it went over that person's head.
And Jason, you recall this spring in Orlando, hit a ball over the bullpen, over the driveway, and into the area where the Braves clubhouse staff, media relations staff park. And he broke the sunroof of Bruce Mano, the assistant GM's car.
Right in there. And the ball went over that person's head and over there into the chop house.
Well, this Braves Florida divisional matchup has the makings to continue to be a great one for years to come. You know about the young pitching the Braves have. Jason Hayward, of course. The other young players on this Braves club. Florida stocked with young talent, too. That's off Sanchez, and a fair ball.
He may have broken his wrist. I hope that hit the glove and not the bare hand. Dan Uggla's asking him, but I don't think Sanchez is feeling any too good about that one. That was ridiculous how hard that was hit. It was hit low and just ate Gabby Sanchez up. He wasn't all that fired up about going to get the ball either.
Told you he's pulling the ball with more authority.
Oh, I just hope that hit his glove somewhere.
They're loaded with one out, another hit. At least I assume it is.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, wait, yeah, there's already 5 hits before that.
And now it is called a hit. The 5th of the inning, second infield hit. Make that third infield hit for the Braves. And now a shot down the right field line, slicing toward the corner. And out of play.
Well, the Braves have been in a situation similar to this earlier this year where things weren't going well. You needed something to snap you out of it. And Martin Prado hit that grand slam in Milwaukee, and they went on a terrific tear. They've already got 2 across tonight. It'd be nice to get at least a couple more here against this tough pitcher.
On the appeal at first, it's a 1-2 count.
That's Adrian Johnson at first base. I think he made the right call. From our angle and from Mike Everett's angle, it didn't look so much like a swing, but certainly the low-first camera had it. Talked to Martin before the game too, Chip. I said, how you doing? I said, you doing all right? And he kind of looked at me funny. And that play last night, that barehanded grab, really stung his pinky finger on his right hand, the broken one. He said, and it stung the rest of the game. What's frustrating for him right now is that he said, I can't swing the bat like I was. And I just find that sometimes on swings, my top hand's coming off the bat because subconsciously I'm just trying to protect it. And he knows that it's going to hurt the rest of the year. It's not going to feel better till November.
A A bases loaded walk. 3-0.
Ricky Nolasco's a terrific pitcher, but I think that was a bit of a surprising call there. A 3-2 curveball. And I know Martine's a tough out, but Nolasco may have thought he had that when he stared in there for a long time on it, but it was away.
So the Braves have pushed across 3 runs in this inning. Again, 3 infield hits, a home run, a walk, but the inning set up by getting a sacrifice bunt down.
You betcha.
And now Mr. Grand Slam Brian McCann stands in. Bryant's hit 2 slams this year.
Might have caught a glimpse in the dugout a minute ago of Chipper, who's in uniform, sitting in the dugout, as he will be, and he'll travel with the team from now on too. But he's like a human video machine down there. I mean, he's had all this success against Nolasco. Any of the hitters, especially the left-handed hitters, can go ask him a question or two. And what a great reference point.
We were joking before the game, watching Chipper in uniform standing behind the cage. He's already got the terrific batter's hitting coach stance lined up. That's past Sanchez and into the right field corner. Infante scores. Hayward scores. Prado will score. Nothing Atlanta.
Turner Field is not Coors Field, but just keep adding on, okay? And this was a pitch that Brian McCann was pulling foul or rolling over the top of just a few days ago, but he's made great adjustments to shorten up his stride and thereby making his hands quick, being able to wait on the ball a little longer, and he kept it fair. A 3-run double. And Andrew Miller, a left-hander, begins to loosen up in their pen.
A 6-run Atlanta second. Derek Lee was robbed of a run-scoring hit back in the first. A sinking line drive that was caught by Logan Morrison in left.
You and I were talking to Terry Pendleton before the game, Chip, about Derek Lee and one of the things they're working on. And Terry said, you know, I never say anything to a new player for about a week unless they come to me, because I want to observe them. I want to see how they're swinging the bat. I want to watch what their approach is, try to learn a little bit about them. And Derek did go to him and ask him a couple of questions. And one of the things that Terry and Derek are working on right now is that when he brings that front foot back to home plate, starts with that open stance, that he doesn't go into immediate tilt that causes an uppercut, because that will definitely slow your bat down. And he has had trouble catching up to fastballs.
You might see one here with a 3-1 count. And that's off the plate.
This is not the guy that pitched for the Marlins on August 12th and shut out Washington on 6 hits for 6 innings and struck out 8. And on August 17th, struck out 9 in 6 innings and shut out the Pirates. I don't know if his knee's bothering him, but the fact that he hasn't pitched since the 17th showing a little bit tonight. He's not the same as the guy who's been so good lately for the Marlins.
Matt Diaz homered to start the inning. Velocity's good. I mean, he's been 92, 3-4 the whole game.
Yeah, but 6 runs in this inning and facing his 10th batter. I'm a little surprised he's still out there.
We showed you that Geico quote from the Marlins manager talking about how careful they would be with Nolasco tonight. This will be his 59th pitch.
Well, I would say they've given him every opportunity to just keep working through this, and if they were really serious about being careful with him, he'd already be in the showers.
High fly ball into right center field. So Diaz 1 for 2 in the inning. And Alex Gonzalez will be the batter. Again, in fairness to Nolasco, 3 of the Braves' hits this inning were on the infield. And the hardest hit of those balls was the one that just almost ripped the glove off Gabby Sanchez at first.
Well, after that, after the double by McCann to clear the bases, and then especially with the walk to Lee, you kind of thought, you know what, that's enough.
Yeah.
At least I did. But I don't have the manager's uniform on down there with a fish on the front.
Yeah, you just stick with the cowboy boots, buddy.
Okay.
Alex with a 10-game hitting streak. Serves that one into right field where Bonifacio awaits. What an inning for Atlanta. You respect the game rewards you. Diaz with the leadoff home run, but the big inning set up by a sacrifice bunt from Tim Hudson, and 41 pitches later, the Braves enjoy a 6-0 lead. Second, 6 runs came across. And we'll see if he'll be allowed to continue when this game hits the bottom of the 3rd inning.
See if that long rest affects Tim Hudson at all. 8 out of 10 first pitch strikes for Tim.
And I know you and he talked about the importance of getting early runs. 6 is a nice bunch to get.
It sure is.
Lifetime Hudson, 130 wins and 2 losses when given a lead of 3 runs or more. And he's just peppering the glove of McCann. 5 strikeouts already tonight.
Yeah, that's a lot for him by recent standards. But really good movement tonight. Two-seamer that was biting in on Cameron Maben, started on the inside corner and then started cutting inside on him.
Derek Lee handles the first pitch hit by Morrison. And 2 quick outs. Platinum recording artist and country music sensation Montgomery Gentry will perform a free concert here at Turner Field. That's presented by Delta Airlines and Coca-Cola. After Braves and Cardinals play Saturday, September the 11th. For tickets and on-field passes, visit Braves.com/Montgomery Gentry or call 800-745-3000.
Tim's strikeout high for the year is 7. He's done that twice. And already 5 tonight.
Andy Ramirez swung at the first pitch and singled to left. And hacks away again here in the Florida third.
His numbers have been real good since he's come back to the third spot in the order. And he talks about how more he concentrates because he has more RBI opportunities in that spot in the order. There's that same pitch. That's the one he lined to left for a base hit in the first inning. It's about a foot inside. Take a look. Max set up away, but that pitch is inside the stripe in the batter's box. And he still got the barrel to it.
Yeah, we'll have to ask Tim and Brian what that pitch is, because he doesn't miss his spot by 2 feet.
Well, but I'm more impressed with Hanley Ramirez getting his bat on it. That's incredible that he's able to hit that ball that hard.
This one topped out to third. And Hudson gets the Marlins right back out there on defense with 7 pitches thrown in the top of the third. By AT&T Uverse, by McDonald's, and by Georgia Power. Well, a great start for the Braves, knowing that the Phillies have already won this afternoon. Braves, if they win, will remain 2 games in front in the National League's Eastern Division. And our broadcast on Sports Out tonight, presented in beautiful high definition by H.H. Gregg. And the answer's been given. Nolasco is done tonight. And he'll give way to big left-hander Andrew Miller.
This guy's been a huge disappointment. He was acquired from Detroit in the deal for Miguel Cabrera. They factored him into their rotation for the next 10 years, and it has not worked out that way for Andrew Miller out of North Carolina. In fact, this year he started the year at A-ball. They sent him to Double-A, and you just saw his numbers at Jacksonville. He was 1-8 at Jacksonville. There's not too many guys that get called back up to the big leagues after going 1-8 with a 6.01 ERA in Double-A. But here he is.
He was the 6th overall pick in the 2006 first-year player draft by the Tigers. And as Joe mentioned, that was the huge franchise-altering trade, one of them made by the Marlins, for Cabrera. And Melky Cabrera is the first out. Here's Hudson. Won't see it in the box score, or at least won't see it talked about. But a sacrifice bunt. Play the game the right way, the game rewards you. And his bunt led to 5 Atlanta runs.
Set everything up. One telltale sign for Nolasco tonight that may have been an indication of the fact that he has a sore knee and had not pitched in a week was no strikeouts. And he'd been racking up a ton of strikeouts prior to the start.
Tracy at third. And quickly, 2 men are retired. You can guarantee yourself Braves postseason tickets when you buy a 2010 prorated season ticket plan starting at just $6 a seat. Join us at Turner Field for the race for the pennant. And secure your postseason tickets today. To order, visit Braves.com/tickets or call 404-577-9100. And there are some terrific matchups still left here at Turner Field. Late summer and early fall.
They're all terrific from here on out. You're in a pennant race, you can't pick a bad game. Pick a bunch of them.
Yeah, you've got the Mets coming in after Florida leaves, and the Cardinals over the 4-day weekend. Washington will follow, and then the final homestand of the year featuring these Marlins and the last 3 games of the season against the Philadelphia Phillies.
That's what these guys were talking about, the Marlins. They're saying, you know, we're 7.5 out, and we've still got 8 games left with Atlanta.
And they're right. I mean, this is a club that has sort of crept into the shadows of this 2-team Braves-Phillies race. And they were coming to town thinking sweep. Here's Jason. He walked in the first, rifled an infield hit off the glove of Gabby Sanchez, and scored in the second.
That walk by Miller, his 4th in 5 2/3 innings since he was called up. That's part of his problem, control. His career record in the big leagues with Detroit and with Florida is 9-15. Actually 9-15 just with Florida, with a 5.3 ERA. Overall 14 and 21.
Well, you see this tall, angular, left-handed pitcher, and you see all those moving parts in that delivery. You think, well, who knows? Maybe he'll turn out to have the kind of control Randy Johnson had. I'm not saying Miller can throw 98 miles an hour. But you're the 6th overall pick in the draft. There is something there. And Hayward walks with 2 out.
There may be something there, but they haven't found it yet. They're still looking. And he might be still looking too. I think that when they sent him to Jupiter in A-ball, it was almost like a wake-up call. Like, you know, you've got work to do. You've got to work on your game and improve some things. He was 1-1 there with a 1.72 ERA in 3 starts, so they moved him to Double-A. That didn't work.
And that pitch didn't work either. Infante to third, Hayward to second on a wild pitch.
The only thing, there's a lot of, I don't know, raised eyebrows for me about a guy getting called up from Double-A that's 1-6 with a 6 ERA. I'm not the GM. I'm not the director of player development for the Marlins or anybody else.
Base hit to left. Infante scores. Hayward around. He's going to score. It's 8-0. 3 RBI game for Martin Prado.
And he's up to 53 on the year. A little 2-out lightning thanks to 2 walks and then the base hit. Fastball. And Martin quick on that one. Turned on it, able to keep both hands on the bat. But to finish my thought here, is that what kind of signal are you sending to the other guys in your organization that are pitching in Double-A or Triple-A that are having pretty good years and they don't get called up? Or had twice as good a year as he had in Jacksonville and don't get called up? Now, I know he was a #1 draft pick by Detroit and a prized part of that trade, but the other guys on that ball club are probably looking at themselves going, so what do we have to do?
Get traded for Miguel Cabrera maybe.
Yeah, or what kind of signal are you sending to Andrew Miller that you can go 1-6 with a 6 ERA and that's okay, come on back? That kind of stuff bothers me because I think of the other players.
No balls, 2 strikes to Brian McCann. A bases clearing double last time up. And this one hit a mile into the air into shallow center. And it drops. Prado around and out at the plate. The wind, I guess, played tricks with that. But Mabin, Morrison, and Ramirez couldn't catch it. Prado thrown out at the plate to retire the side in the 2-run Atlanta third. And Eric will bat in the 5th spot, which leads off the bottom half of this inning. First pitch swinging, Dan Uggla. Starting to hear a few whispers about Uggla that he may stick around with the Marlins, sign a contract extension perhaps. Got Josh Johnson in the fold. They've got Hanley Ramirez locked up. There's a chance that Dan may earn a long-term contract and be a Marlin when they move into their new ballpark in 2 years.
He's earned it. He's put up the numbers.
Gabby Sanchez jumps on the first pitch. That one hammered to center field, and that'll bounce off the track and into the seats. So 2 pitches, 2 hits, and now 2 Marlins in scoring position.
And 2 fastballs. Those are 8-0 fastballs. First pitch strikes, get ahead in the count, and they've hit them. Enough of that. By the way, you can see tonight that Tim has shaved his beard. He had it on for 2 starts and didn't get a win in either one of those starts. Got 2 no decisions. He was showing me that it had come off yesterday. Came off during the off day. He said he was riding around on his farm south of town. He said it felt like he had a wasp nest on his face. So he got rid of it, and he's had better luck tonight.
Tim, don't ever grow a beard again. No swing, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hudson looking for his 15th win of the season. He's 14-5. Runner coming home on contact. It was Uggla.
Run him all the way back. Got another runner there.
There's a break. First out. Sanchez to third. Tracy at first on the fielder's choice.
And Uggla just, I mean, the infield's playing back, willing to concede a run, but anytime you hit a comebacker to the mound, that's not what you're expecting as a base runner. So he got hung up. No reason to make a throw when the runner at second had come over, Gabby Sanchez.
Bonifacio hit the first pitch he saw tonight and singled to right field.
Yeah, I'm surprised at how he's pulled the ball in these 2 games. Never thought he was that quick.
This one into center field. Sanchez has to scramble back and tag. Braves will concede the run. It's now an 8-1 score as Bonifacio picks up his 6th RBI of the season. So it's an 8-1 game for the catcher, Brett Hayes.
Not as far to the first base side of the pitching rubber as he can get.
And a foul ball off Brian McCann. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mets are in town next. They are losing tonight to Houston 4-0. Mets a banged up ball club. Jose Reyes has an oblique problem. Jason Bay out with a concussion. But he's starting some baseball activities this week.
Tim Hudson was a 20-game winner in his first full year with Oakland back in 2000. Also had a season where he won 18 games, another with 16 wins. His high with the Braves is 16 wins, 16-10 in 2007. But he's been in double digits in wins with Atlanta every year except last year when he got hurt.
6th strikeout of the game, 1 shy of his season high, which he's accomplished twice. And he leads the ball game tonight by an 8-1 score. By Academy Sports and Outdoors, by KFC, by AirTran Airways, and by Verizon. It's an 8-1 score as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. And friends, a reminder for you, it's Girls' Night Out at Turner Field, September 10th. Your tickets include an outfield seat, a pregame party, and a Braves cap. And, Joe, how about this? A red feather boa.
All right. See, you come out that night, girls' night out, you might meet someone pretty nice, and then you'll want to come back the next night for the concert and see Montgomery Gentry.
I like it.
It would be like your first real date.
And the Braves will donate $5 from each ticket to the American Heart Association's Red Dress campaign.
Well, that's cool.
To order, visit Braves.com/Girls Night. I hope the red feather boa matches the Braves cap. We would hate to clash. As Eric Hinske Batting for Derek Lee, who left a few moments ago. As soon as we find out why, we'll let you know.
Hopefully just to rest him before the day game tomorrow.
Derek had some back issues shortly before the Braves acquired him from the Cubs. Hinske with 6 hits in his last 50. 3 at-bats.
We always call it the Miguel Cabrera trade, but at least in my mind, I forget that Dontrell Willis was such a big part of that trade too, because Dontrell was still on his game when that deal was made.
We saw Dontrell with the Diamondbacks earlier this year. They let him go shortly after we left town. And the last I heard, I think Dontrell is pitching in the Giants minor league system somewhere.
I think you're right. It was one of the 2 Bay Area teams because he's from that area, and it was an opportunity to maybe work his way back up to the big leagues for either Oakland or San Francisco.
Yeah, I think it is the Giants now that thinking cap is on. Heck, they could use him. What's happened to the Giants pitching?
Boy, what's happened to Tim Hinske? He got rocked again last night. Gave up a 3-run homer to Adam LaRoche in the first inning, and the D-backs never looked back.
Tim Lincecum, 0-5 in August with a 7.82 ERA.
Started here. That was the first game he pitched in August, was here when the Braves beat him.
Buster Posey got banged up last night too, hurt his forearm.
Really?
And if he goes out the way he's been swinging the bat, that makes things even tougher for San Francisco. Hinske unloads to straightaway center. Maben at the wall. Can't get it. The masher from Menasha comes through with a leadoff home run in the 4th. And that's been a long time coming for Eric Hinske.
Well, he's hit some shots off the Marlins, though, this year. And on the 10th pitch of this at-bat, he lofted that one just over the glove of Maben. And I was like you, Chip. I wasn't sure if Maben caught it or not. Second homer of the year for Eric against the left-handed pitcher.
So it's a 9-1 score for Matt Diaz.
On our Foxmo technology, well, he got his hands inside that pitch beautifully. He's so strong. Most people, I think that would have turned into maybe just a routine fly ball to center.
And a liner into left center field from Diaz. And Hanley Ramirez might have hurt himself.
Sometimes in the course of action, that protective device is not so protective. It's more of a hindrance. And looked like Hanley, actually there's a real hard spot on the dirt out there that he landed on, and
another wild one from Miller. and Diaz in at second base. You were saying?
That Gonzalez tonight has had some good at-bats. It's not that hot, but Hanley's really sweating right now.
Buddy recovers in time to take care of Alex Gonzalez. Diaz to third. And now one out. One in, one on, one out. And word has come in on the Derek Lee situation. A mild right side strain.
He took I'll say it was a check swing, and I think it was his first at bat tonight where he might have felt a little pinch, where I thought I saw him grab his jersey and then kind of shrug it off. But hitters, it's almost impossible for them when they take a good cut or a check swing, if something gets irritated, for them to not show it.
And that worked out fine because Bobby knew that Eric Hinske was going to homer anyway, so chance to give Derek a rest. He is expected to be able to play tomorrow afternoon. Yeah. And with, again, his history of that side or back problem with the Cubs, get him out of there tonight. Let him get ready for the series wrap-up tomorrow. Just what the doctor ordered for the Braves tonight. Six runs in the second, 2 runs in the third, 1 here in the fourth. And Tim Hudson on the mound. Already 11 Braves hits, and it's only the 4th inning.
Told you that Diaz last homer was a month ago against Washington, and Hinske's home run tonight is second against Florida this year, and his last one was against the Marlins in Miami on July 25th off Eric Bolstad.
High pop fly. Ramirez drifts back. And he and Morrison collide. Throw to the plate. Not in time.
But while the argument might take place at home plate over the call, the disgust is on the face of Hanley Ramirez, who wants to know what in the world Logan Morrison was doing. We've seen the last 2 nights Logan Morrison very active in left field. He's not a left fielder by trade, but he's all over the place. And Hanley was camped under that. And while an outfielder, if he calls for it, is supposed to take it, that was a routine play for the shortstop. And it looked like Mike Everett got that call right at home plate.
So the inexperience of Morrison in the outfield shows up on that play. And it turns into a gift run. Ball beats the runner. As Tracy at third starts a double play. 2 more runs across for the Braves. An ugly night for the Florida Marlins so far, and that's just the way we like it. Eric Hinske leads off the inning with a home run. And after 4, it's all Braves. 10-1 your score. Head to the 5th inning, and plenty of smiling Braves faces on our Blimpie game summary.
Love the A's on the cap on the Blimpie game summary.
Hudson setting him up and mowing him down. He struck out 6.
Tim might have gone into the dugout tonight and said, never lost with 10 before, boys.
Heck, he seldom loses with 4.
Yeah.
I think the tone of this game, offensively at least, was set with the very first batter for the Braves. As Miller is down on strikes, that's 7 and a season-high tying 7 for Hudson. Remember, Omar Infante doubled to start the game. We've talked all night about the electricity in the ballpark. And that got the fans crackling very early when the Braves were at the plate.
Yeah, it's a terrific crowd here tonight. They've had a lot to cheer about. Braves trying to snap this 4-game skid.
And he has thrown that pitch time after time to Maben in this game, and Cameron has yet to make contact.
Good hard sinkers to Maben and both sides of the plate. So they've had him reaching, they've had him fighting off. The proverbial rocking chair, as the pitchers would call it.
Well, we told you tonight everything sets up very nicely for the Braves in this game. Hudson with his 14 wins, 6-2 after a Braves loss. Phillies already beating San Diego. Atlanta knowing what they had to do to preserve their 2-game lead in the division. And they have come out with a vengeance. And that ball hits the base. And Maben gets an infield hit.
Nothing else Martin could do there. With Maben's speed, even if he charges and picks this ball up, he's not going to throw him out. So the only hope is that it'll roll foul. And the only good thing is that Martin didn't have to bend over to pick it up.
Yeah, nice friendly bounce. Here's Morrison. What a delightful young man this kid is. Had a chance to talk to Logan before the game. And Joe mentioned the story last night. His father battling terminal cancer. Lives in Louisiana. Made a 29-hour train ride to get to New York to watch Logan play. Had a huge series against the Mets. And then last night was able to watch the ball game and see Logan hit his first big league home run against the Braves here at Turner Field.
Quite a thrill and a big smile on the face of this kid, too. Turned 22 years old just 3 days ago. That was also part of the reason his dad went to New York, was to help him celebrate his birthday. And he may be a kid, but he's not small, right?
I was shocked. I mean, he's every bit as big as Jason Hayward is.
He's listed as 6'3", 240.
We were talking with Dave Van Horn, great Marlins broadcaster, about Morrison. And Dave was raving about this kid's leadership skills. Again, the tender age, but every level he's played at, Joe, he's been a tremendous asset to the ball club.
Everybody talking about how it won't take long once he establishes himself here at this level of basically being the guy on this ball club, the leader on this club.
Not bad for a 22nd round pick. But Hudson strikes him out. That's a new season high. He's gotten Morrison twice.
Yeah, he's getting an education. Kid tonight is getting an education from a veteran who knows what he's doing and is on top of his game and locating tonight. Something Tim said he was having a hard time doing in Colorado, whether it was due to the grip of the baseball, not able to get the movement he wanted, whatever. He was up with some pitches. His sinker wasn't sinking. It was more flattening out and tailing.
If you wonder, 12 strikeouts is Tim's career high. And ironically enough, it came against Florida. That was way back in April of 2007. He's got 8 so far. Had a 9-run lead.
Henley's got that elbow guard on. He may have to start wearing more protection if on pop-ups out behind short if Logan Morrison keeps playing left field.
I've already seen he's probably too well protected for ground balls up the middle.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Sometimes you have too much equipment, sometimes you don't have enough.
Up the middle. The mound will help Alex. Throw on the run. Good play. And that will retire the Marlins in the 5th inning. Tim Hudson has 8 strikeouts and a 10-1 lead.
Preview show that gives you a voice. So head on over to SECGridironLive.com and learn more on how you can get involved every Wednesday night at 10 Eastern on Fox Sports South.
All right, Christina, thank you very much. Looking forward to SEC Gridiron Live, as well as a fantastic finish to this 2010 Braves season. Andrew Miller back out there for the 5th with Hayward, Prado, and McCann coming up. And partner Jason's in one of those stretches where he's seemingly on base 2-3 times a night.
Which is great, because that generally means that he's scoring runs, and he's scored a couple tonight.
He had a stretch where he was on base in 10 straight plate appearances on the road trip. He's reached 3 times tonight, scored twice. And Tracy is the first man to retire him in tonight's 10-1 Braves game. Martin Prado, the hitter, as we enjoy a money and energy-saving bright idea from Georgia Power. Change the air filters in your heating and cooling system regularly. Go to GeorgiaPower.com for more energy-saving tips. Georgia Power is a Southern company. Looks like Miller's taking a page out of the Chris Volstad playbook. By that I mean get the ball, get the sign, and get right back to work quickly. It worked on Prado as Martin down on strikes. And that is the first Braves hitter to strike out in this game. And so with this big lead, a chance for Bobby Cox to give Brian McCann some rest now. He'll bring on David Ross. At this time of year, anytime you can get any of your regulars an inning or 2 extra of rest, they will gladly take it. Pennant race or no. David pops it up behind the second base bag. Hey, no contact on a Marlins infielder. That worked out well for them. 3 up, 3 down. We go to the 6th. +30 save seasons. Billy Wagner is one of 4 to do that with 4 different teams. Can you name the other 3 guys?
How about Jose Mesa? Remember him?
Oh, yeah. Very good call.
Maybe Randy Myers, and I'll go Lee Smith.
En fuego.
I just scratched off Raleigh. I had Raleigh on there, but no.
Wow. You just, totally demoralized Gretchen Caney with that answer.
Yeah, probably. I don't know what she'll do tomorrow.
It's good. It'll be ugly. Break out the encyclopedia. Toughest question of the year probably tomorrow. How about Billy Wagner last night? In fact, for the Braves, 2 games in a row with a pitching strikeout milestone reached. Hudson's 1500th tonight.
I
Dan just a little late on that one, by the way.
I love it when a hitter does that, though. That is just great. Like he started to swing, gets frozen on the curveball, the catcher catches it, and then goes ahead and swings.
9 strikeouts for Hudson. And Billy Wagner, more strikeouts than any left-handed relief pitcher in history, earned last night. And I loved his comment after the game. We talked about, hey, he didn't throw the baseball out in a 7-1 game. And I believe Carol Rogers asked him about that in the AJC today, and Billy said, who cares, we lost. Fly ball well hit by Sanchez to right.
He is a real pro. I mean, he is a pro's pro when it comes to stuff like that. And when David Ross kind of looked up over the shoulder of Billy Wagner and saw that tribute to him on the big screen, I mean, David stood up and like, you know, do you want to throw the ball out? And Billy's, no, sit down. Let's go. Not about individual stuff for him. He said, someday I'll look back and maybe appreciate some of the things I've been able to accomplish, but it's all about winning.
There are a lot of guys that play the modern game and are in the game now who I would love to see play back when Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb played. I think Billy Wagner would fit right in with guys like that.
He'd fit in with any era. You're right. Because it's about competing.
Chad Tracy hits a bullet into the right field corner. And you hear his fans and family members who've made the trip to Atlanta to watch him play cheer. That's his first hit of the night and third in the series.
Well, they've got some hits off Tim tonight, but a lot of the damage has come after 2 outs.
New set of signs for David Ross and Tim Hudson with a runner at second and 2 out. And Emilio Bonifacio is the hitter. A single, a stolen base, and a sacrifice fly tonight.
Chad Tracy went to East Carolina, graduated from high school in West Mecklenburg, North Carolina. So, yeah, not that far away. Have some folks come down. Tim Hudson's next start is scheduled to be the last game of this homestand against Johan Santana of the Mets. That'll be another great matchup. And Santana's getting shut out tonight and beaten by Brett Myers and the Astros 4-0.
And that's really news because Santana's thrown 3 straight complete games for New York. And those Astros, I'm telling you, you've mentioned it a couple of times. They've been a second half team the last couple of years. But we both were really impressed with the youngsters they threw out at the Braves down at Minute Maid Park.
There's some guys who've been waiting for opportunities to play in the big leagues and getting it and playing with a lot of energy and excitement with nothing to lose. The Astros 19-11 over the last, 30 games.
So frankly, I'm glad the Braves don't have to play them anymore the second half of the season. Let somebody else worry about them. And 4-0 is that score against the Mets. And the game at Citi Field where New York has been so good all year long.
Tim not happy that he's gone to a 3-ball count here. Only 1 walk tonight, and that was an intentional pass back in the second inning. And what at that time was a scoreless game, and then the Braves scored 6 in the bottom of the inning.
Oh, what a swing and what a pitch. He's got everything at his command tonight. 10th strikeout. Wow. 10-1 your score.
Coltrane. Logan Morrison. Nice play. Derek Lee lined this one to left in the first inning, and another nice catch by the kid out in left field. That's the Coors Light Freeze Can, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
Marlins make a couple of changes up the middle as the Braves back in there with a 10-1 lead. Hector Luna's in to play second base, and Donnie Murphy will play shortstop. So Ugla and Ramirez get the rest of this night off. And the first pitch to Eric Hinske is out of play, foul. We'll let you know where Luna and Murphy bat in order for Florida when we get to the 7th inning. Hanging breaking ball, and Hinske didn't miss it. He's 2 for 2.
If you just joined us, Eric Hinske came into the ballgame a couple innings ago and hit a home run, but here's where we think Derek Lee may have hurt himself. Watch, see, he grabbed his side right there on that swing and a miss. And then he did hit that line drive to Morrison. We just showed you, he made the good catch on it. And as he was ready to start his inning defensively, still grabbed at it a little bit.
Another chance for Tracy at third. And Luna the turn, not in time, as Matt Diaz aboard with one out.
And again, the report was just a slight strain, side strain for Derek Lee. But it looked like that's where it happened on that swing in the first inning.
Alex Gonzalez is 1 for 3 tonight. Joe mentioned the 6-run second for the Braves. 3 infield hits, a walk, and a sacrifice bunt after the Diaz home run. And the first of those infield hits gave Alex a 10-game hitting streak. Another chance at third. Well, Tracy's been active in this series. He's looked very comfortable over at third base most of the time. Mentioned that hasn't been his normal spot.
Not in recent years, that's for certain.
And they do a real good job of finding players cast away by other organizations and plugging them into their lineup. Mac Tracy, kind of a replacement for Jorge Cantu, who was traded to the Texas Rangers, but former second baseman with Tampa Bay. Played third, played first, and played well.
Yeah, the scouting department does a great job, both amateur and professional. Talked about the little things, Chip, and how the Braves have done a good job on those tonight, and how it has resulted in some good innings for them. And they're also coming through in the clutch. They're 4 for 12 with runners in scoring position. So not only have they gotten them over, they've gotten them in.
And let's not kid ourselves. This isn't a team that's going to score 10 runs a night.
No, nor are they going to hit 3 or 4 home runs a night on a consistent basis.
Gabby Sanchez in foul ground has plenty of room.
But you give this pitching staff 4 runs to work with a night, you're going to win a lot of ball games.
And the Braves winning big tonight after 6. It's the subject of our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard tonight.
Yeah, and I thought for a minute that Adam Wainwright was going to run off and leave everybody, but he's had a couple of bad outings, his last 2. To take a couple of losses, his ERA is still not bad, but at least it's up over 2. And Tim Hudson, that was 2.28 coming into tonight. He's given up 1 run in 6 innings this evening. So that'll go down if it remains that way.
Brett Hayes pops one back on the first pitch. Strike 1. So you've got the Cy Young race and you've got the Rookie of the Year race in the National League. I mean, those 2 are anybody's guess.
It's going to be a little crowded, huh?
Man. No balls, 2 strikes. Hayes has been walked intentionally and has struck out swinging.
The most strikeouts he had had since that 12 strikeout game that was his career high was a 10 strikeout effort against the Reds in 08. So this ties for the most since that 12 strikeout effort against Florida.
Whatever the perfectionist, I'm sure Tim is very, very happy with his stuff and his results so far in this game.
Well, there's a point that something he's done tonight that Tommy Hansen referred to in his post-game comments last night that was a struggle for him. Said he couldn't get ahead in the count. He couldn't throw strike one and get ahead and then dictate from there. Tim Hudson tonight, 20 out of 26 in first pitch strikes, which results in funny swings.
And he's 11 for 11 in strike threes.
Yeah.
But from a hitter standpoint, man, that's what you did in the major leagues. What's the difference between ball one and strike one when you're in the box?
Oh, you're just feeling good. You're more confident. You're not. It doesn't put you on the defensive at all. Feel like you're going to get a good pitch to hit, more likely a fastball or something. If the pitcher gets behind 2-0, certainly you're in a better position to hit.
But Tim has been able to dictate virtually every matchup tonight, and a rare ball one to former Brave Wes Helms, who's in the batter's box for Andrew Miller.
Wes has done a good job for this team and this organization. He's a real leader, even though he's not an everyday player. Has taken a lot of what he learned in the Braves organization with him throughout his career and used that influence on younger players. A good guy, too. He and his wife Meredith have 2 boys, Wes Jr. and Waylon. I love that. And a daughter, Stella. They live now in Sterrett. I believe I'm saying that right. Sterrett, Alabama.
And a light misting rain has begun finally to fall at the ballpark.
Well, you knew something at some point with Tim Hudson pitching. It had to.
It's one of those unwritten rules in baseball, kind of like Derek Lowe pitching in the daytime.
Yep. And Derek goes tomorrow against a terrific pitcher, Josh Johnson, who has not pitched well his last couple of starts in August.
A dirty dozen for Hudson. And that ties his career high. Last done against the Marlins, as we told you earlier. And that is our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot.
He did that on April 25th of 2007. Good hard sinker right at the middle of the plate. What a job. He's due to lead off in the 7th, so you would figure this to be his last inning, just to save him a little strength. Not working on a no-hitter, not working on a shutout, and just now getting to the 100 pitch mark.
But with an 0-2 count now, a chance for a new career high.
They've run out of space out there in the Gas South, bringing the heat. They've had to run into another row.
I mean, that's pretty good. When you're on your second row of Ks, you are bringing the heat. A new record. 13 strikeouts for Tim Hudson, a new career high. He struck out the side in the first. He struck out the side in the seventh and gets a standing O.
I picked this one because watch David Ross. Talk about being in the rocking chair. A curveball that just ate up Bonifacio for a strikeout a couple of innings ago. Well, again, watch David hold the glove. Here, you just hold the glove there and I'll throw the ball to it. Awesome curveball for the strikeout. And of Tim Hudson's 13 strikeouts tonight, his career high, all have been swinging except one. The only called third strike was on Morrison in the first inning.
And Gretchen Caney, our fine statistician, tells me that the 13 strikeouts by Hudson tonight is the most by a Braves starter since John Smoltz did that. He struck out 15 Mets on April 10th, 2005.
Well, he's had it working tonight, folks. And
Rick Ankiel pinch hits and greets Burke Badenhop with an extra base hit.
Everybody hits. Braves trying to snap this 4-game losing streak. They've lost 6 out of 8. This will make everybody feel good going into tomorrow's game with a chance to win the series. Keep it going.
Two hits and 2 runs for Omar Infante in tonight's game. He had his career high hitting streak of 14 games snapped last night. He started a new one tonight.
Yeah, it's a shame when he goes 1 for 3, his average drops. So he has to get 2 every night.
Well, he's back up to 345. And for those of you who haven't followed us the last week and a half or so, he has not yet qualified for the batting lead, but he can still win the batting title even if he doesn't have 502 plate appearances. A little roll around toward Luna at second. And Ankiel the third with 1 out. However many plate appearances shy of 502 Infante or any player might be, if it's 15, 20, 27, if you go 0 for 27 and still have a higher batting average than the highest man with 502 or more plate appearances, you can win the batting title that way. What a feather in the cap for Omar Infante that would be in this season in which he may have been the most unlikely of all All-Stars.
Well, any naysayers at the time he was picked, you're not hearing from any of them now. Nobody's complaining now. There's the man of the hour, though, Tim Hudson. Clean-shaven Tim Hudson.
Well, it was hairy for the Marlins hitters in this game. A career-high 13 strikeout performance and barely over 100 pitches.
With the beard, 2 starts, 13 innings, 6 runs, 15 hits, 2 no decisions. Without the beard, career-high in strikeouts and on the line for another W.
Kind of starting to like the no facial hair policy idea, huh?
Mm-hmm. It's 10-1. You got a runner at third, less than 2 outs, and the infield back. So this is where, as a hitter, you get a little greedy, and you're saying, okay, just put the ball in play. Even a ground out gets that run in and another RBI.
And Jason knew it. Good pitch from Baden Hop over the outside corner for the second out.
That was a good pitch.
But only the second strikeout from a Marlins pitcher in this game. That tells you how locked in the Braves hitters have been. Three more RBIs for Martin Prado. He's up to 53.
And now Eric O'Flaherty has gotten up for the Braves. Kyle Farnsworth has taken a seat.
Giants continue to struggle. 6 runs in the first inning. Wow. Who started that one tonight? Barry Zito. Only 4 of those 6 were earned, however. A high fly ball. Well hit. Got a chance. Out of here. A 5 RBI night for Martin Prado.
That'll make his pinky finger feel even better. That's our Coors Light Cold Hard Blast, and for Martin, his 15th homer of the year. And let's take a look here as this ball sails over the fence. Looked like it was caught by a fan. You talk about a great souvenir. That fastball looked like it was in off the plate. Burke Badenhop, a very happy guy. But what's this young man? Oh, what a catch.
Oh, excellent.
That was awesome. Okay, now take a look right here. One-handed grab. Everybody's happy for Martin, but I think they're even happier for that young boy.
Hey, Dad gives him a beatdown, too.
Can't beat that smile.
And that will retire the side. Braves continue their offensive outburst. They've scored early, they've scored middle, and they're scoring late. It's a 12-1. Braves. With my partner, the Cowboy Joe Simpson. He's got his lucky boots on tonight, and they've paid off. That, of course, 13 strikeouts from Tim Hudson. Braves up by a 12-1 score as we head to the 8th inning. Melky Cabrera will play right field. Rick Ankiel enters to play center. And the AT&T call to the bullpen will feature Eric O'Flaherty in relief of Tim Hudson.
4 outings since he came back from the disabled list. No runs allowed. 3 2/3 innings, 3 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Terrific work all year long for Eric. Got waylaid by mononucleosis that put him on the disabled list. That rest probably did him some good.
And just a couple of short days. More reinforcements are expected. How many, we don't know, but rosters expand September 1st. And major league teams can still make trades. And the importance of that September 1st deadline is if you want that player for your postseason roster, he has to be on it before September 1st. And there was a trade made last night by the Minnesota Twins. They got Brian Fuentes, the Angels closer, to team with Matt Capps at the end of their bullpen. And a 4-pitch walk puts Morrison aboard in the Florida 8th. Friday, September 10th, the Cardinals are in town. The first 10,000 kids 14 and younger get a free pack of Braves logo bands. For tickets, visit Braves.com/tickets or call 800-745-3000. Twins in a great race in the AL Central. They're 3.5 games in front of the White Sox. And a line drive by Murphy into right field. That's going to go to the fence. Morrison around third is going to get green lighted. And he is going to score ahead of the throw. It is now a 12-2 game.
This guy Murphy is just... No, it doesn't matter who he faces in a Braves uniform. Last night, they didn't get him out. They didn't give up a hit, but he did get a walk. Remember, he had a game-winning hit off Billy Wagner down in Florida. Two for two, 2 RBIs and a walk so far against Atlanta.
I've seen enough of him for 1 year. Here's Hector Luna. Think the White Sox will get Manny?
Well, I think so for this reason. The Dodgers are trying to decide if they're in the race or not in the race. Wild card race or not.
In the air to right. 1 out. And Melky shows off his arm.
And the Dodgers are only 4.5 back in the wild card, so they're definitely in that race. But they're in that race without Manny. They've done that without him.
Yeah, he's only played a handful of games, really.
So why worry about him not being on your ball club if you're in it? If you think he'd make that big a difference, then hang on to him. But if he's make that big a difference, he should have been playing.
And I guess the same question holds true for the White Sox. They're 3.5 games out in the Central. And certainly in wild card contention, too. How much of a difference will Manny Ramirez make if he's not 100%, maybe only interested in playing, and this is only speculation, for another contract?
Well, if that's the case, he'd be a very expensive pickup because I think there's like $3 million and some change left on his deal this year with a month to go.
One ball, 1 strike, 2. A Rookie of the Year candidate, Gabby Sanchez. He has a stretch of 8 straight games with an RBI on the line, perhaps in this 8th inning. And he will go down swinging. Ross will have to throw him out at first. So that streak will come to a close tonight for Sanchez. 2 outs. Rockies beating the Dodgers tonight. Colorado, another club to keep an eye on. They're 4.5 back in the wild card.
Dodgers thumped them late last night, though. Ubaldo Jimenez gave up a grand slam in like the 8th inning.
And Casey Blake hit the slam last night for the Dodgers, who have a 4-game winning streak riding. In the air to center by Tracy. And that will retire the side. A leadoff walk and a double adds a run to the Marlins ledger, but they're down big late here in Atlanta. Digit strikeout performance as well from Tim Hudson. 13, in fact. That's a new career high. And the Braves also played long ball tonight.
Our air trend, how far did it fly? Home run off the bat of Eric Hinske. His first at bat of the night when he came in for Derek Lee back in the 4th inning. 398 feet for Eric Hinske. That's our air trend, how far did it fly? Home run.
Well, I love that Exmo replay that we had of the home run swing from Hinske. It's one of the funniest things about our sport. There really is no such thing as an ugly left-handed swing at contact. And you diagrammed his perk just beautifully when he blasted that home run leading off the Braves' 4th. Great crowd tonight. As you see the numbers for Clay Hensley. 43,846.
Clay Hensley's done a great job for them, making their team out of spring training. They've used him a lot, averaging more than a strikeout per inning. But back to Hinske and his swing. I mean, he's no different than Brian McCann or anybody else this stage of the season with respect to maybe getting a little fatigued and the bat feeling a little heavy in your hands and what you have to do to try to get something started. But on this swing, he stayed back, hit against that firm front side, and his hands stayed inside the baseball. He didn't try to extend his arms too soon. Kept his hands in there and let them do the work. And just beat on that pitch. But not that one.
No. But a 2-for-3 night for Eric off the bench. And that'll do his confidence some good entering tomorrow's series wrap-up with Josh Johnson. Braves in good position to even the series. They've only lost one home series all year. And a tough assignment ahead of them tomorrow. Derek Lowe will pitch for the Braves, and we'll have it for you here tomorrow afternoon. Braves, by the way, with the crowd tonight, go over 1.9 million in attendance. They'll crack the 2 million mark, we would presume, with 5 games left on this homestand. And don't forget, great season ticket packages, prorated season ticket packages available in just about every price range, every budget. Great games, great opponents. Mets, Cardinals. Final weekend with the Phillies. So everybody in Braves country, come on out to Turner Field and be a part of this very special 2010 season. And you can do so. Speaking of budgetary concerns, it's half price week with the Mets in town. Monday, it's 2-for-1 Golden Moon Casino Pavilion tickets. Coca-Cola 2-for-1 Upper Reserve tickets on Tuesday. And our friends at Toyota bring us 2-for-1 Outfield Pavilion tickets on Wednesday. And pick up your tickets online or by phone for the rest of this Braves homestand. Diori Hernandez will bat with the bases clear here in the 8th.
Good for Diori to get an at-bat, stay fresh. Only 5 at-bats prior to this one since he got called up, but the one hit he has was a big one, a home run.
Houston has beaten the Mets tonight. Brett Myers wins again. He's had a nice year for Houston. Washington all over the Cardinals tonight. Can't figure out St. Louis.
No, me neither.
They beat the winning teams. They struggle against the losing teams. Diori smokes one to left. And that will retire the side. Hensley works a scoreless bottom of the 8th. 3 more outs to get for the Braves to maintain their 2-game lead. It's Kyle Farnsworth looking for the final 3 outs of the game.
Kyle could use some good work here, too. His days with Atlanta, not as good as the overall numbers would indicate. With the Braves, he's been in 9 games, 7 innings, 7 runs allowed, 5 walks, but he has struck out 11 in 7 innings. So a clean inning here would be something he would welcome very much.
Hope you all have enjoyed our broadcast tonight. My name's Chip Carey with my partner Joe Simpson. Great job by the crew as always tonight. Andy Pollack, our producer. Gary Lehman, our director. Bill Cochran, our associate producer. And Gretchen Caney, our statistician and graphics coordinator. Hope you appreciate their hard work tonight and all summer long. And what a night for the Braves and Tim Hudson. Career high in strikeouts. En route to his 15th win against only 5 losses. Chance to knock the Marlins down a peg further in the division and answer the Phillies' victory earlier today against the Padres. They beat San Diego 3-1.
They didn't have a ton of hits in that game unless they got some in the 8th or 9th inning. Padres had out hit them even though the Phillies were up 2-1. At the last juncture, I got to watch a little bit of it.
How about last night, though? The Phillies had to go extra innings to win. Brad Lidge balked home the tying run in the 9th. I think that might have been his first blown save of the month. Not sure about that. But then the Phillies, Jimmy Rollins, has been sizzling hot. Got it done for him in 12 innings. Bonifacio is retired. And a good start for Farnsworth in the 9th inning. 1 out.
Emilio's hitting the ball hard. They sat Stanton down because he'd been slumping and put Bonifacio in there. He's playing well. Kyle's waving off Jim Lovell and Bobby Cox. I don't know what happened there, but
yeah, David Ross came out from behind the plate and saw something. Then Martin Prado came over. Jim just needed some FaceTime on TV.
Well, you know, Auburn kicks off here on our network against Arkansas State.
That's right.
And he is a diehard War Eagle. Well, that would bring me out if I'm the catcher. But Kyle had a smile on his face, so I guess he's all right.
His arm's all right. That went in at 95.
Oh, that got the umpire on the ricochet.
Game started with a foul ball off a body part of Everett. It might end with a pop fly off the screen. Off his left foot.
That Auburn-Arkansas State game is a week from tonight, 7 p.m. on Fox Sports South.
That just doesn't seem possible. Smoked by Hayes. Did he get enough? It's off the fence. And Ankiel loads up. Throw to third. Closer than it should have been. What an arm he's got. Wow. Bobby Cox said of Ankiel, he's got the best arm he's ever seen in the outfield. And there's another example of how strong it is.
I thought this ball was going out. One of the deepest parts of the park, though. Short hops the wall. And Rick gets it on the hop. And just a little late.
We talk about it a lot before the games, on the planes, on the buses. As a kid, that was such a fun thing about coming to a big league game, as watching infield and outfield practice, watching the outfielders throw. That guy's arm is worth the price of admission to see him turn one loose. Brad Davis is the Marlins pinch hitter. Chance for him to pick up an RBI. And the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes, closing in on 10 o'clock in Atlanta on this Saturday night. Liner over short. Boy, what a nice stroke he put on the ball. And it's 12-3.
Kyle Farnsworth throws hard, but I think sometimes his fastball is just very straight. And if that was a fastball, it didn't move anywhere. It held its line, and got to have some movement no matter how hard you throw. Good slider there.
Farnsworth, second for 1. Hey, pretty good athletic play there. That'll force Davis. No chance to get 2 with the speedy Maben flying down the line. But there are 2 outs now.
Yeah, that was quick reactions by Kyle to turn and change directions and then make an accurate throw. Well done.
Well, here's a fun matchup. A guy that can throw the ball 98 miles an hour and a guy that can hit it 9 miles. Who's going to win the 9th inning battle here?
Couple of good cutters. One to Davis, or excuse me, one to Maben, and one there to Morrison.
This is the end for Morrison. A strikeout, a fitting end to this ball game tonight. A night that saw Tim Hudson strike out 13 for a new career mark. The Braves all over Florida with a big 6-run second. And oh, by the way, Tim Hudson offensively, Joe, was in the middle of that too.
Yeah, a good bunt that he put down that helped set up everything in that 6-run second inning. But good all-around work by everybody in a white jersey tonight.
Braves answer the Phillies win earlier. They clobber the Marlins and even the series. 12-3 our final score. Plenty of recaps coming up right after this.